Of the many great verses in the Bible, I always thought of Daniel 7:25 as being one of the more fascinating passages. So I just want to briefly look at the verse a bit closer and give a few thoughts. The verse reads as follows: "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time." What reminded me of this verse in recent weeks is that I'm seeing more and more comments on my videos about how people are simply feeling worn out by what Trump says and does. He simply has this draining effect on people. And I often feel that way myself, as even listening to the latest crazy thing he says can be a challenge. He is simply exhausting to many of us, and it can be difficult to deal with him on a day-to-day basis. That brings up an interesting dichotomy, as those of us who see him for what he is feel exhausted with all the Trump coverage, especially in light of how this Trump mania has been going on for close to a decade. Conversely, those who love him often cannot get enough. They hang the flags from their homes, wear the t-shirts and hats, and tune in to every one of his rallies. To them, there is no such thing as overdosing on Trump. The world was, of course, a crazy place long before Trump arrived on the scene, but in many ways he has taken it all to a new level. He simply has a knack for bringing out the worst in us, and unfortunately, he appears to enjoy it. The other part of Daniel 7:25 I want to briefly talk about were the words about changing times and laws. Many Bible scholars see this as a reference to religious feasts and possibly related to when the Antichrist enters the third temple. However, I think we could see this verse also fulfilled in a different way. There are multiple reports that conservative think tanks have hundreds of executive orders already drawn up and waiting to be signed by Trump should he win. These executive orders would immediately and radically change many of the laws in the country and have a profound and even shocking effect on tens of millions of Americans. But that's not where Trump might stop. His changing times and laws could even specifically refer to himself, since the Antichrist is called the lawless one in the Bible. He is not only above the law, but is a law unto himself. Trump would likely seek to pardon himself, which he already said he had the power to do, and that pardon could even be worded to include all his future actions as president. It would be a prime example of the lawless one changing laws for his own benefit. Trump has also semi-joked about serving more than 2 terms, although he has mentioned it so often that it probably isn't a joke. So he and the hardcore MAGA crowd might just seek to repeal the 22nd Amendment as it limits presidential terms. Interestingly, one of the groups that partnered in Project 2025, the American Conservative, has proposed that the 22nd Amendment be repealed. And even though Trump denied having anything to do with Project 2025, we all know that he would absolutely be in favor of repealing the 22nd Amendment. So those are just a few of my thoughts on Daniel 7:25, and let me know if you agree or perhaps have a different take. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.